Yo, YouTube, it's Anarchious, also known as Sir Killington of Colorstruck, and you know why you're here. Mermaids are not white. And if you're angry at Ariel being black,
argue with your mama.
You're not arguing with me. But if you want to argue with me, you know who you can argue with?
You can go ahead and argue with. How about?
Damn, fuck my afro up. Yeah, I can work with it. So I got sent this video, and we're gonna watch it. It's of a Danish historian of religion. Now, obviously, a lot of people with this whole Ariel thing, they're like, oh, you gotta go to the source material, or why not just follow the Disney movie that was already there, you know, The Little Mermaid, you know. Everyone's allowed their own opinion and their own arguments. However, I got sent this and I want to watch this with you guys. It's about 3 minutes. Hang in there with me. Don't forget to give me a like, comment, and subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more Molly gets all the love. The love. Molly's my chocolate pit mix. Okay, anyway, let's watch this video.
Nothing in this world is more natural and more meaningful than portraying the Little Mermaid with a black actress.
Oh, this man is wildin' already. He wildin'. Ignore the mermaids are not white thing. Obviously, mermaids are not real, so they don't have a race. Anyway, let's continue, because somebody said this to me and said he has some good points, and he mentioned some stuff that I would be interested in. So let's keep going,
My name is Rune Jarno. I'm a Danish scholar of religion, and since my academic work is based in Nordic, but also in Afro-Atlantic religious culture, I just want to...
Nordic and Afro-Atlantic religious culture. Oh, I like where this is going. Ooh, let's go.
Add this perspective as a bit of a response to this current explosion of hate speech against Walt Disney because they chose to portray Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid as a young black woman.
All right, let's correct that. It's not hate speech against Disney. It's hate speech against
The Negroes.
That's really what it is. It's not hate speech against Disney because the people who are angry at Disney are still going to give Disney their money, regardless of this. Like, you know, all you need is another Frozen to come out, and they're still going to make sure that their daughters see those movies. So it's not hate speech against Disney, it's hate speech against the Negroes.
Apparently, it has somehow affronted people who, I don't know, perhaps grew up with merchandise of Ariel as Ginger. But I just have to say that these reactions are completely out of touch with any understanding of what mermaid mythology is. And this racism is also quite a bit perplexing to me, actually. I'm Danish. This means that Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid, well, it's my cultural heritage. You know, for instance, the statue of the Little Mermaid has about the status for me that I guess the Statue of Liberty would probably have too many Americans.
Okay, I'm glad he said many Americans because, bro, that shit looks like that. It's supposed to be a symbol of freedom, but for me, that shit is a symbol of oppression.
This down here is a different statue, by the way. It's this is just in front of the Parliament building, and there's a statue just down here of a more original version of the myth of the marriage to a sea spirit. I also have 3 mixed kids with a Franco-African woman. So this is just to all those people who go flip about the fact that a female figure from my cultural heritage is imaged with a person who looks like my daughter.
Good, but also it's one of those things like, so now you have skin in the game, so you already know the whites are going to be on him about that.
As a Danish ginger scholar of this stuff, let me just make it absolutely clear that mermaid mythology is not a white thing. First of all, it's much older than the unhappy invention of being white, which is in fact historically a fairly late idea. For instance, I didn't grow up with a particularly strong understanding of myself as being white. I remember retrospectively discovering as an adult that a childhood friend of mine actually is not white. And second, mermaid mythology is found in Northern Europe, But the idea of water spirits is probably close to universal, actually. And it's also very much specifically an African cultural element. And not only is mermaid mythology totally an African phenomenon, it is in fact a field where European and African mythologies historically interact and interplay and mix. So in the Atlantic encounter, ideas and imagery of the mermaids and water spirits flowed between Africans and Europeans. And mermaid mythology is a field that's basically diverse to begin with. You see a number of these African sea goddesses imaged as mermaids. This is the case, for instance, for Mami Wata, for Oshun, Yemansha. These deities are imaged as mermaids.
Okay, so I'm glad he mentioned these deities, because Oshun is a Yoruban. It's not necessarily a deity, it's more of a spirit. We call them gods. They're Orishas. I'm glad he mentioned Yorubans, because in my story, in my book series, because I was so bent on not using Greek, Roman, Egyptian mythologies, because those are so overused, and I was never really into that stuff. But I was very much growing up into the idea of Shango, Chango. In my story, there's a race of people who descend from the Yoruban Orishas. There's specifically three of them: Maya, Shango, and Aganju. Those three. And I used three Orisha guys, and I'm glad he mentioned Oshun, because she is one of the characters, or one of the tribes from my book series that I'm going to mention in the comic book series. I didn't mention in the regular books. I didn't mention in the novel series, because I felt like I'd just be shoving shizzles of information that I'm not even going to use for the actual novel. But for the comic, it's a lot easier because I can show you. Anyway, yeah, I'm so glad he mentioned the Orishas and Oshun.
And this also works the other way around, by the way. So in a contemporary Atlantic world, which, for instance, Denmark is a part of here, you find the Little Mermaid actually taking up the role as these water deities. People giving flowers to Oshun at the actual statue of the Little Mermaid, or you find reproductions of this little statue at the Santeria altars of Caribbeans that are living here, and so on. So the application of diversity when you produce mermaid mythology today, that is not moving away from how it originally was. In fact, it moves back to something that's really fundamental about this mythology. Okay. And you could even say perhaps that, it's finding the roots of this mythology rather than continuing to deny it by continuing to subject this Nordic animist mythology to this ethno-nostalgic or even racist prestige. So thank you very much to Disney and to Halle Bailey for taking a stance for Nordic mermaid mythology.
Okay, so the Nords.
Skyrim belongs to the Nords.
I don't know what possessed me to say that. Anyway, I'm glad that whoever sent me that, because I did not know that actually. Actually, I knew that the concept of a mermaid or a water spirit was universal. I knew that. I didn't know that Oshun, specifically in my book, I got Yemaya, I got Olarum, I got a character that is based off of Olarum, or what I would think Olarum would look like when he was a teenager. That's pretty much it. I knew that they crossed in some bit, but I didn't know that they flowed into each other the way he said it. But yeah, I am glad that someone understands. This mother was wild, and in the beginning I was like, okay, he about to say something wild, and then it turned out to be fairly decent. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be hitting you guys with some more videos. Obviously, I wasn't able to do them because of COVID. Man, fuck COVID. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Yeah.